Wherever you're going to listen to music and everything, sound always most important part about making you feel curious. A little controller we got for ourselves to play around at home.
The DDJs.
And that is where we actually gave our hands the first brush of it. All of the love you develop while being in high school and that rage you felt for the first time when you listened to, for me it was electro house and generic house music, which is easy to absorb. I mean, I define it as underground. I'm confident that what I listen to today is like underground music. Those were like the opening gates for me to find what all music is being played. At the end of the day, I will always be a dancer myself first,
Oh yeah?
then a DJ later. Multiple genres can marry each other and still sound great.
So we are here at the Windhorse Record Studios with Direct Drive.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I think I'll just quickly start with the first time when I heard you play. I think it was Good Room.
Correct.
Yeah, and you dropped this track. The house is a spiritual thing, a
Right.
body thing, a mind thing, and that gave me goosebumps. Bro. I was like, what the fuck? Because the rhythm and the beat behind that track was so different from the New York house that, you know, like I have listened to or whatever I've grown up, not grown up listening to, but what really got us to the scene. So it was the same essence because of the vocals, but somehow the beats were a bit heavier and they were like, you know, like deep cut like that. So I was like, shit, man, like this is so inspiring right now. So it was a great set, first of all, bro.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
it was
you
a
so
great
much.
party also, actually.
Right.
That was the first Good Room, right?
Right. That was when we actually invoked the concept and we were happening it in front of our eyes for the first time.
Interesting.
Yeah, correct. This was 2025 May, the month of
So
May.
it's been an year or 2 years.
It's been a year.
It's been a year.
A year right now at the moment. Somewhere sitting around 1 year completion.
Interesting,
Correct,
bro.
correct,
That's a good one. So somebody told me, I don't remember who, that you've been to Tomorrowland.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
I
Oh,
like
God.
So the idea behind this is that why I'm putting this forward.
Okay.
Is that from you visiting to, I'm also like, you know, as a kid, I watched so many fucking after movies and I was like,
Definitely.
yo, this is the place where I want to be. So your journey from there, which is a sort of, you know, like a very commercial festival, I would
Yeah.
say, and very different sounds also, people coming in, you know, like for a different experience altogether.
Definitely.
From there to this sound and this who you are and the music that you're playing now, what is this shift and how do you feel about this shift now, basically?
You know, one thing always stays constant wherever you're going to listen to music and everything is that, you know, the sound always stays the most important part about making you feel curious. That, okay, I want to catch and experience how it feels. If I'm actually surrounded by a really big sound system and there's music all around me and people are there for the same motive, they're there to dance. I think if we're talking about 2017 and 2018 because I went twice in a row and everything.
Oh, wow.
I was under all of that influence about, you know, just all of the love you develop while being in high school and that rage you felt for the first time when you listened to, for me it was electro house and generic house music, which is easy to absorb, at least in my definition it was the case why I got gravitated towards that music and particularly a festival like
Like everyone else.
Correct. We all had our digs back in the days. We found out about DJs and what they're playing and the whole party culture was very invigorating at that time. I mean, as of now, I have transited huge in my journey of finding music from that point to where I am right now. The whole concept of about partying is important, but at the end of the day, the music has to just sort out way more things compared to what it used to be back then. It was just a very straight up idea even then. Today also it is the same. But again, it used to be totally like a fun aspect and nothing more than that.
Okay, cool. I'm going to stop you here,
Yeah.
okay? So this is when you were already in your DJing journey, or this is when you were just enjoying music, going out parties, like when you went for Tomorrowland?
Big factor, I was not DJing at that time. Neither did I had
Any idea?
plans
Okay.
or an idea.
This is 2017 to
2017. I was listening heavily to stuff and everything. And honestly, ironically, it happened that I think during the time when I visited that festival, I still got a little pulled towards some sounds that I found out at the festival that felt a little different. I mean, I must have gone to the festival to catch some very particular sounds, all the big stage, big room names, all of the people we hear when we look at the internet and everything. But once I was there, it was like an open ground for me to actually catch whoever I wanted to. So I did stumble upon some new stuff as well over there, which I carried back with me. And I think that contributed decently in actually giving me way towards where I am today and what I
Interesting.
like to listen to.
Interesting.
That was like
So
a great
you were
experience.
in India then, and
Yeah.
you just went to attend the festival,
Correct.
and you came back.
Correct.
And when in your journey, you went to Europe. I think you went to Europe to study, and you're an architect, right?
Yeah, correct.
So you went essentially to do
Hmm.
that professional course in Europe, in UK.
Yeah, UK.
Okay.
So for me, I've been fortunate enough to travel also. And of course, being away from home has always been a very important part in my life, which has actually opened the gates for me towards finding the underground. I mean, I define it as underground. I'm confident that what I listen to today is like underground music. And those were like the opening gates for me to find what all music is being played, how people are just feeling curious and finding way to some good parties, like good dance floors and everything. So when I would travel, I would actually see the culture outside. I would absorb it as well, and I would be able to know that there's vinyl existing as well. There's a format that was there before the format that we are comfortably able to find as of today, which is like playing music on the drives, on the USB drives. So I was very invited by the whole idea of actually buying the record and the DJ spinning it on a turntable, which would look like a very different setup to me back then. So, I mean, traveling has always been a very strong factor for me to understand that, how to dig a little deeper, how to find a little deeper path into understanding that, where does this underground we keep calling, keep saying, where does it come from? And what are the roots? So it directly connects you to history, which is very important for me.
Interesting. So do you remember any point in your journey when you were like, okay, now I want to be a DJ? Like I want to actively start, I don't know, maybe collecting records or collecting music, or more than that, I need a gig for myself to be able to really show it to the people that, okay, like this is what I've got. So is there like a transitioning point for you, or like it's just like happened?
Definitely there was. See, at the end of the day, I will always be a dancer myself first,
Oh yeah?
then a DJ later.
Interesting.
Because so many hours have been spent being on the dance floor.
That's so important also,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
So important.
100%. Always being very curious about where I'm headed to, if I'm headed out for a little dance with my friends, and going to actually listen to some DJ playing or a performer performing his sound, his or her sound or anything. So while being regular at this ritual in my life, I would always be a person who would be very curious to also understand a little about how all of that was happening, how all of the music that was getting to my ear was actually happening, being conducted, whether it was being DJ'd, whether it was being performed live, or how the person was putting it out before us, which was actually making us move and feel so much. So that curiosity was a very important thing into me starting to maintain my own collection always. It was happening since a very long time before I actually started DJing. I would always be having music of my own where I was downloading, buying everything. A little bit of record collecting also started to happen, I think, sometime in 2018.
Okay.
2018 was the time when I started collecting records. Of course, I was not very active, but I would try to, buy a little here and there.
So 2018 was probably your first record.
Yeah, 2018 was my first
Which
record.
was it?
So this was a record on this label called uh, Disco something something. It was Disco. I remember the artist. It was this Dutch artist called Robin Odell.
Okay.
And it was on some Dutch label, and I can't remember the name now. So it was the first record that I got, and how I got it was I was around traveling in a city, And I saw this record shop where people were actually getting drinks outside the store. It was like around 5 p.m. or something. I walked in and I just heard some music being played. So it was the same label from which I also bought the record that evening.
Okay.
So I really liked the sound and I was instantly moved. And I went to the person managing the store at that time and I asked about the record and everything. And he directed me towards the same label or the same shelf from which that record being played was picked up. So I picked up a record for myself as well from that shelf. It was a very good experience. That is how it has been. And it has always been a constant process. It's been slow and I like it that way, but it has always been constant. That time I picked up a record and of course I was maintaining my own playlist also for music and I was downloading music. Then sometime around COVID, this happened that I wanted to try all of this out for myself, of course at home. My friends with whom I used to listen to that music, they came over and we had a time to ourselves for like one evening, chilling, being easy, sitting together.
That's Delhi, right?
This is all Delhi.
Okay.
And a little controller we got for ourselves to play around at home.
The DDJs.
Correct,
Yeah,
exactly.
always, everyone.
Yeah, 100%. That is where we actually gave our hands the first brush of it. So we tried to test out some tunes that we had and we tried to construct it the way we have actually experienced those same tunes being played at the club or anywhere where we listened to it.
I'm sorry, what year is this again?
2020 COVID.
2020 COVID.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Cool.
So that is where we were not going out a lot. So we had to cook up the stuff by ourselves if we wanted to catch some music because there was nothing happening outside, at least in Delhi. So that was the first time we actually tried our own hands at actually doing it. And the thing was, all of us did it. All of us used to try our hands out on the controller to rinse each our own collection.
Are these people from the industry that you're talking about? Can you name if they are?
I mean, no. Actually, primarily it were like 3 to 4 of us.
Okay.
And they're not actively DJs at the moment.
All right.
They're my very good friends even today. They're like more solid than brothers to me.
Okay.
And back then we used to very regularly hang out at my spot and listen to music together and be easy about it. And actually, music used to be very major at the center of it always. That is why we were comfortable to actually try our hands on as well. And then after that, it was a slow process. I had some more friends actually playing music out and about in the city, and they knew about the collection that I used to have for myself and what sound I used to listen to. And they invited me at a point of time and they asked me to come out and play it out for a few people. And I think that was it for me. And I really enjoyed the experience. I'm sure I must have been like a real real rookie at playing my first gig ever. But the point is, what I carried away after the gig with me was actually immaculate. It was a neat and clean feeling shouting to me that, listen, this was great, man. I still remember the first set I played. Luckily, all the artists' music that I played, I am still strongly gravitated towards all of them. It's not like I would say that my taste changed or something like that. I mean, the roots have somewhat just maintained a very strong touch with me. I started my track with like a Mono Lake track, which is an artist that I totally like his work. I respect what he does and everything. So I remember those snippets from my set like a mental image that I'm always carrying.
So this was like a club commercial show, or it was just you playing for your friends at somebody's house?
Oh, I didn't mention, yeah. It's an important detail. Like, it was actually a club gig.
It was a club gig.
Yeah. I mean, right now that club is shut long back, so I'm not going to name and everything. But yeah, this was a proper
interesting
event. Correct.
So that was your first show ever
That
in
was
Delhi?
the first show.
People just like wanting you to play because they know that somehow that this guy has good collection and you just want to play.
That is what they thought, and I also think that way. I mean, yeah. But I didn't even have a DJ name back then. Nothing.
Okay.
And still, I did play out an event to some people. There were some people, and it was a really strong feeling for me.
Cool. So that brings to interesting question also, bro. Direct drive. Like, I mean, I did some research. I've tried to know what the meaning is.
Okay.
But it'll be interesting if you can share, like how the name came about and when did you feel the need for having it?
So it's the There's an interesting thought about it. It has always been there. Back when I had no active plans to DJ, or maybe I thought about it, but I never had a plan that okay, I want to be here, I want to be in this field, I want to actually play music for people. Back then, I was buying some records. If I was ever traveling, if I was at a record shop, the point is I would notice the whole direct drive terminology on every turntable as we see today. If we are looking at a turntable, it's the whole mechanism with which a turntable operates. So that word, that terminology always used to stick in my head because every turntable was coined as a direct drive turntable, at least in my sight, whatever I saw. So I think whenever I must have wanted to think of a name, this thing always somewhat, hovered in my head that, okay, if I want, I I was always aspiring to play records. That was like a long-standing thought that I always had because the format really made me very interested about the whole music. If I would ever want to play a set, I would know how it would happen. Back then, I didn't learn how to play records.
So I'm sorry, your first show, the Delhi show, was also a vinyl
No.
show? Okay, that was
No. Yeah. I think chronologically, I'll just make it like I'll explain from my end. So I started DJing never on a vinyl format. I
Okay.
got into playing vinyl much later. I was collecting very slowly, but I was collecting actively even when I started to DJ. But when I started to DJ, it was through the digital format only. So I think 2022 now we have moved into. I have been playing some gigs, very less, not a lot, here and there, of course, on digital formats from my end, and I've been enjoying them a lot. Uh, 2022, I think actively a thought struck me that I think I want to try this format out as well in my DJ sets. So again, the first thought was to manage like a setup because I had no turntables to practice on and everything. Slowly, I built my setup. I took like all of 2022, a year to actually fetch pair of turntables and a mixer for myself. So when I did that, during that all process, I was also brainstorming on my end, on my personal end, to actually come up with a name with which I would want to represent my DJing project, and if I want to push vinyl as a format through it. So that is when uh, this terminology at the back of my head, it was always there. It just jumped at the forefront, and that is where I was like, okay, simple, solid, and somewhat it also resonates with how I would want to be pointed out. And I was fond of technically derived names. I mean, I don't know. It just clicked with me. It's a very personal thing, but it's been there since then. But I already had the name in my head somewhere roaming around for the past few years as well before that. That is the case. In 2023, I went to the UK to study for a year. And that is when I actively started playing vinyl gigs.
Okay.
Yeah, because outside, lots of stories. That's like a huge chapter which contributes a lot into how I'm DJing today and how I started DJing. Because all of the city, I was living in London, so all of the city had these. I had a huge scene of records. I mean, whether you're buying, whether you're listening, whether you're playing anything, it was actually flooding out with the vinyl scene. I mean, it still today is, but it was like the hub. It is still the hub. So I found a little spot for myself also over there, and I became comfortable. And I was like, I'm actually enjoying it. So
How long were you there in London?
a year.
A year. So you already had this experience that you took from Delhi in terms of playing some gigs.
Yeah.
And anyways collecting music.
Exactly.
And then that 1 year basically gave you like a big playground to play around, to play on, find more people who probably resonate with the kind of sound that you're playing. So that's what the 1 year did to you, right?
In exactness, that is how it happened. Whether I wanted to listen to music also, I mean, it also opened my ears to a lot of new sounds. I was always under the impression of finding myself playing in a very singular manner when it came to playing a genre.
Okay.
And when I was living over there, when I had the time in London as a city, I understood that how multiple genres can marry each other and still sound great. So I learned that bit over there by going out to listen to music, and house in a very strong way opened its doors for me over there. And I think that city has this one very interesting thing I would like to mention. It is a full-fledged culture of having small and a lot of residencies.
Okay.
So as DJs, it's much free flow of DJs contacting venues and being in touch with venues or cafes or pubs or bars and hosting their residencies. And this is what I think, 65 to 70% of those residencies are purely vinyl. And that was a very interesting thing for me to notice. And I think it must have contributed in me diving deeper into the format as well. So I used to my best friend was having this Thursday night residency at this place in Hoxton called the Hoxton Cabin. And it was like a small space with the capacity of 40 people. And a 40 people venue, he would just go every Thursday and he would spin records over there with his own collection. Like the manager, the bartender, everybody knew him. And I also started going with him and we all became friends. And I also would jump onto the decks with him because I would go with him every Thursday. So every 1 hour, 2 hour, every Thursday of the week, I would be there spinning records. No matter even if I had like 25 records, I would still do it. I would still play my set. So that was like a very strong, firm foundation for me to just get into the format and believe in it as well. I think that way I was lucky. I was in a city like that.
Dude, that's interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
And then you did that and then you came back to Delhi.
Correct.
So there must have been such a big shift in your perspective.
Yeah.
Because of that year.
Yeah.
And you've already played some gigs, you've already seen the scene in Delhi,
Right.
and now that 1 year of like full exposure, seeing like people just playing vinyls, and then how did Delhi feel, man? Like,
so Delhi was always home. Now I would say this very strong thing. To understand London as a full city, a year is nothing.
Yeah.
It's a very big city.
Yeah, for any city, I think.
The whole volume of culture is huge. So 1 year I got my fair share, but to say that one person explored the city in the full-fledged form, that might not be accurately right in my perspective. But I got a fair share for myself. I had a lot of learning to take back. And I think, yeah, when I came back to Delhi, I was carrying a lot of influence about this one very crucial thing that I also mentioned a while ago, that how different genres can marry each other and still sound cool, still sound great, and you will still be pure to what you're trying to do. It's not like you're trying to play everything else, but every sound matters. Every sound has a constant sense of movement in it, and it's just that different genres are deriving and explaining that in their own language. The whole idea, what I learned, was that every genre has movement in it. Music and sound moves. It has to just conduct and exhibit a certain sense of movement. Whether it's jazz, whether it's like playing the reggae and the dub, it's house or faster techno and anything. It's just going to move. And it depends upon your instincts, which kind of a movement you connect with more. So whether you like to dance to like faster atmospheres, like techno music, you like to, just be a little floaty with house music, you just want to pump up some fuel in your body with reggae and dub and all of that. So anything, it can just sound nice and it can be played together also as well.
and that's you.
That is what I carried, I guess.
Yeah, because like I've heard, as I told you, I was speaking to JD. He also told me that like it's very hard to say that Direct Drive is about one genre. It's about like multiple genres, like everything sort of just coming together. And that's what Akiko also told me, that when you go and collect records from a record store,
Right.
it's because of course she's also always interested in what person is buying what.
Yeah.
So you have such a wide range of just picking from like one flavor to another flavor. So that is you, man, 100%.
I mean, I'm actually happy about the fact because these are all the people you just mentioned who I really respect. So if there are some observations about my project, what I try to do, so that's great. And I mean, all of the point for me is that I try to understand that how can a set be constructed if I'm collecting records for, let's say, for my personal listening or for playing out a DJ set. I try to find stuff that is going to act in some manner like a tool with which I can build something, and actually try to construct a set or construct a journey where there are not very extreme lefts and rights, but interesting ones.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a diversity in the journey, so that the journey doesn't eat anybody up very soon. It has the place for everybody to breathe in different corners. Wherever you want to be, you should have a choice, but still feel moving.
Cool. And that's what I think I saw in the last that you performed with Atrug also. And that's why, because there was such a different mix of flavors coming together. And that is so you. So you could also, like appreciate it with open arms that, okay, fuck, like this is playing with so much variety and still being able to tie them all together, which is great, I think.
I guess I might myself be carrying this question. I never try to answer, but yeah, I think that is the whole idea for me, to understand that what primarily as on the basis of sound I would like to perform under the DJ project that I have. But the entire fact is that I would always want to and try to inculcate and play all the sounds that I like, and they're usually somewhat different from each other.
Sweet, bro.
Yeah.
So coming back to you coming to Delhi, okay?
Yeah.
So like what, how many gigs were you getting? Because you decided that, okay, like this is my calling and
Yeah.
probably I want to be DJs, which means you would want more shows and you would want an audience to which you can play your sound on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So was there a difference in terms of you getting more bookings after you came back from London, or it still took you a while to get your name there and like sort of be out there in the industry for people to be able to notice you? Because of course all of these things are important for you to get more gigs and more shows, right?
Definitely. I mean, a very important aspect about, I think this is an important aspect about any DJ,
Yeah.
playing out and about in a domain, in a city.
Uh-huh.
So for me, this is what exists as a truth, a solid truth, that it's about getting the right opportunities to play and getting the right bookings, so to say, to actually play, where somewhat your taste can breathe comfortably. It's not like I don't want to, or if I'm playing in a public setting, then definitely it's just not me who I want to cater to. I want to cater to all the people or anybody on the dance floor, or even having 1 inch of an ear towards what I'm playing. So I want to cater to them. It's not like I want to do a total surrender as well. I want to actually try to strike out a balance in uh, what what I feel they would like to listen and what I would want them to listen to as well. So if there is a little sweet spot, so I'm happy. So if I consider that as a factor, then I think the right answer for me is to understand the right places where I would play. So if I say that, then it took me my sweet time to actually find out the right avenues where I think, yeah, I would be totally happy to go out and play music for people. And yeah, I was very lucky to find my friends, right friends. I made some new friends as well after coming back to India, and a lot of them already knew before I even left. So a whole mixture of that was like a very good place for me to be, where I was invited to play music for some people. And yeah, I had a strong shift after coming back to India, where I introduced some new genres as well into my DJ sets. Like, for example, jazz was one genre where I made a very strict and a very thought about decision to introduce classic jazz sets under my DJ
Like
project.
fully classic jazz
Fully.
sets, or you trying to involve some jazz tunes within your set? That
That
also.
is something that I would do, but again, I had introduced fully jazz sets,
Wow.
jazz solos, like totally no beat structure, no beat grids, just horns, drums, keys, sax, everything, all with which the genre is constituted.
Did you all meet at the International Jazz Day for the first time, right? The VNV set that Akasha also did, and I think you.
Yeah, Akiko, I met the first time for the International Jazz Day.
Okay.
That was the first.
So that was one of the fully jazz shows that you're talking.
I think it's beautifully complex. So that is why I also respect the genre, and I will always keep trying to find out more avenues in Delhi city where I can always get to play this.
Cool.
Yeah.
So in Delhi, do you sort of remember that one gig that you think might just change the game for you somehow, where people were like, okay, fuck, dude, like now I think, or you, not even people, for you to be able to feel that, okay, dude, I think now I've cracked it. I mean, with an artist, it's always an ongoing journey, of course.
100%.
But still, like, there's that one confidence or maybe something that, okay, now, like I think I've reached a certain point and I want to build it from here for sure. But I think, yeah, like I'm sorted.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are moments, there have been multiple. It's difficult to actually put down one, but yeah, of course, there is one with which I attach a lot of personal feelings because that was a party that I myself threw along with my best friend. So, this was the good room that you talked about earlier.
Okay.
So, when we did the first edition, we were actually very scared and fearful about the fact that how it's going to go because if I talk about myself, I at that time at least I had zero experience about how to make an event happen by own hands
Mhm.
to actually just get the tickets out and expect for people to show up and actually put up a good show as well for them.
It was a great show, man.
Thank you so much. So the
Yeah.
whole idea, I mean, you were there so you know about it. The whole idea was giving out an AV immersive evening to people and where they could see actually how the artists for the evening, which were the DJ and the VJ, would interact with each other and play out their crafts in sync. So when that happened and when it took place and when it was fully conducted, I had a solid sigh of relief where I was like, okay, I mean, it was not purely a feeling that, okay, I've cracked it, but it was a very satisfactory feeling. I was completely feeling full of the experience that I took away from that evening. And I was feeling way more confident about myself. I think that would be the best way to describe it. I was way more confident about myself after that evening because the music, I saw people dancing. So, I mean, we invited this incredible selector as well to actually play the closing act for the evening. So, it went really well. I mean, I was very confident about the fact that, okay, I know something about the scene. I know little about the industry. I actually know little about how people behave on dance floors. What is the behavior to understand about people? Because these are the people who will always come to dance to your music and your parties if you do any. So that one thing I was very confident about. That really helped me to shape up a little plan ahead, plan of action ahead for myself about what kind of sound to further propagate out of my project or what sound to take forward from that project, which was the good room. So that was the feeling in exactness how I would
Dude,
describe.
no, actually, I think that feeling is very so much like I'm just gonna
Yeah.
validate that feeling for you
Thanks.
because I am, like I told you before that we are kind of like very much into the whole New York soulful because
I'm
we're
aware.
dancers, yeah.
Yeah.
So that show was a bit away from that,
Yeah.
and I was like completely clueless about, like what kind of sound's gonna be. Let me just go see there's a cool party happening.
Right.
And you sucked us all in, bro. I was
Wow.
there like just losing my shit. And I
Mhm.
actually remember having goosebumps like, what the fuck is this sound? And what the fuck is this whole setting? So it was actually really special. So you as a DJ, I think, did your job there.
Wow, I'm glad. No, Rishabh, if it's coming from you, I know the maturity you carry in your ears because you are listening to music in that volume, I'm aware. So if you're saying it, then 100%. It double validates the confidence that I took away that evening. I mean, I was very happy that so many faces I already knew, my friends, they came up and everything. But yeah, it was like a great feeling. And honestly, it was all improvised. It was literally on the floor. I mean, pre-planning a set or pre-planning what to play. I carried some crate of records for myself, and like my friend was there who was DJing all the time. He was a great support with me because you got if you're doing something with a group of people, with a crew, your friends, your brothers, whoever it is, you gotta have your frequency of comfort with them,
Yeah.
and that is one key ingredient about if it's gonna work or not. So that's something that I had. So I was lucky about that fact. And I think maybe I was in a zone in that manner. I was feeling comfortable that I was able to give some decent, some justifiable sound out to the people who came to dance. So that was that.
Cool. Just tell me that one party that changed your life, maybe, I don't
My
know.
God.
A DJ, a party, maybe like in UK and also definitely in India, like what DJs you look up to in the UK or wherever in the world, and definitely in India. So, like something you want to tell everyone just like.
Well, I'm going to start with India, of course.
Yeah.
It's a very rich country in terms of the minds that we have in any field, firstly. But yeah, if I'm talking about DJing, uh, there are so many people trying to do so many different things, trying to push a genre, and more so
Sweat.
when it's difficult to push a genre that's coming out from the tree of electronic music, let's say. But there are a lot of DJs that I look up to. If I have to name a few, then I really admire the work by Chab from Bombay. what he plays, and how he, is dedicated to his sound, and how the production and the DJing both somewhat stay in sync while moving ahead, while growing.
Oh, he produces also?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He
Okay.
does. So then Delhi, a lot of my favorite DJs are my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there'll be lots. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
difficult for me to name everyone.
Fair enough.
Everybody, yeah, I know whose music I like. Then yeah, of course, the parties that have changed my life. This will also bring up the few DJs all over the world that I look up to. I think one party that I can never get out of my head was in 2021. This was a party that took place in Prague, and I was there interning at this company. And there's a club over there. Now the club is called Ankali. So now it's having its refurbished version currently functioning. It's Ankali 2.0. So when I went, it was the original Ankali, the OG Ankali, and there is a room in the basement, and it had a slot uh, provided to this DJ from Minneapolis, Detroit, DVS1. He is like a true techno master and the person who actually lives on the rhythm. And he played like a set starting from 1 a.m. till 5 a.m. And I was there, and the energy he carried, the way with which he responded to the time of the night where he was invited to play, and the way he developed the flow. I think that was, in my language, pure intelligence. I was really inspired, and it was like a great evening, and I danced, I think, for the entire time. I didn't move from the dance floor. One was that, and
Best kind of parties.
yeah,
When you
100%.
just can't, when you're like, fuck, dude, I don't want to go even pee because I'm gonna miss something. Like, fuck that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the point is, all other thoughts are just subsided very
Yeah.
comfortably. You're existing in your bubble, in that comfortable bubble. And as a DJ, I mean, this is what I do. I am constantly absorbing. My body is moving, my mind is absorbing. I mean, what else do you need? So I learned a lot. And I think one another party. I think if I have to talk about a party that I've attended here, uh, I think that is what I'm going to call this event that was back in the days. I think in 2018, Red Bull used to organize events in Delhi.
Okay.
And this party happened at Oro only. It was a night curated, sponsored by Red Bull, and Red Bull only used to curate artists as well back in the days. Or there was a promoter in Delhi. I am not aware. Sorry if I don't miss anybody's name. They had on the lineup this DJ from United States. Her name is Aurora Halal.
Okay.
And along with that, there was DJ Nobu, who's running the label called Bitta and running the party series called Future Terror in Japan. So these
Future
two,
Terror.
Future Terror in Japan. So these two DJs came down to play, and we gathered. All of our friends went for it. I think 4 or 5 people. All of the regular crew who used to go out to listen to music and dance to it. We went, and I think that was also one of the most memorable parties that I've attended in India. And I've had the dance floor energy. It was amazing. It was like something that I would never expect before I visited it. So yeah, these nights are somewhat holding a gradient in my head where they always have something to give back to me, even if I reflect upon them. So always good places to, just take something away with you to understand, okay, how do you deal with some moments as a DJ? Or, how you learn to take it slow. As a DJ, control, I think, is very important. And for me, it would take forever, I mean, for at least a DJ like me to develop control while playing music. Even today, I might be in the process of just, learning to how to control the whole time while I'm playing playing.
I mean, I think that's the craft, right?
That's the whole
That's
craft.
the craft, yeah.
I mean, it's easy to go fast.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to think is, how can you not disrupt the movement and be slow? Take your time.
That's sexy, bro.
Yeah, I mean, really, this is what I think, chronically felt after playing. I mean, it's not been a long time DJing. It's been 6 years to me right now. But what I've understood as a very key factor in conducting a good DJ set for people is to be good at controlling the time. Be good at being slow or fast or however you want to be. You should be the decisive person, not your DJ set.
I think that kind of mentality really comes with actually going out and listening to many DJs, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm not saying that a lot of people don't do it, a lot of DJs don't do it, but I think somehow people can do that more to really appreciate the craft. And then we would have just like beasts in our city also, and then they would know that, okay, like this is what needs to happen, this is what we need to do, right?
Totally. That's the case.
Interesting. And again, another thing that I want to ask you. So you're an architect, and I remember at one point you told me how you somehow, you know, like connect the DJing aspect, the DJing craft of yours to the professional life also. Like you see some similarities in that.
Totally.
It'll be very interesting to, you know, like know about that also.
I mean, to begin with, it's not very comprehensive. How I put it is that, again, one thing is for the ear, other thing is for the eye. We're trying to create in both spectrums. We're trying to create in one place where we're creating for our eyes and we're creating for us to inhibit. And the other spectrum is the music, is the sound, where we're creating for the ears. And again, sound is also something where metaphorically we can inhibit ourselves in it. So one thing is for the eye, other thing is for the ears. Both are forms of design and both contain equal potency in delivering an expression, in delivering an experience. I think a person can equally be overwhelmed or underwhelmed by experiencing these two spectrums. As designers, whatever you're creating. So for me, both are forms of design. I'm doing the same thing in a way. Whether I'm actually making a space, developing a space, making a building, constructing a building, or constructing a DJ set, or constructing like a music journey for people. Whether it's curating a playlist or performing a DJ set for people to dance. It's all actually just constructing, building it bit by bit, taking your time and seeing actually what will work, what will not work. It's the same case whether it's architecture or whether it's music.
That's beautiful, bro. I think it takes a lot of commitment. You know, like you are a really committed music person. That's why even like in every aspect of your life that you do, you could draw some parallels and you could figure out that, okay, you know, like because I love that so much, you always have some connections with the other things also around that you do, which is, I think, a sign of like a really committed DJ, which is great. And another, you know, why I'm saying this also, like the point that I want to come to is, somebody told me that you were on a drip when you played like the party, Tapan's party, no?
Right.
So that is, what do I say? Is that insanity, or is that you being like totally committed to the craft?
That's your perspective. Whatever you call it, I'm okay with it because that's also a bit of an insanity. But the point is, see, my reasons for coming out to play that night was just wanting to show respect towards the amount of commitment, the amount of dedication and an effort that goes into planning an evening, that goes into setting up the entire lineup as a curated product for people to come and listen to it. It's like a building block. I think if there is a person performing on the lineup for one evening for people to come and dance to, I think that particular one person just doesn't remain a person. Then that he or she becomes like a building block of the entire sound of the night. So I had a feeling, I mean, I was a little unwell, for which I had to go to the hospital and I was going through all of that process. But the point was, I felt it in me that even if there was 1% of possibility of me being able to go and play, I wanted to play my luck out on that 1%. And I felt that 1% to be a little alive. I was like, okay, maybe I can pull it off. And if these people were not people who I really respected, I would have let it pass actually. I was like, okay, maybe for the next week, 10 days, I could be at total rest. But if I can play on this 1% possibility, let me give it a shot. And I gave a shot. I mean, okay, I must have not given my best, but I kind of made sure and I tried to keep the night running. So yeah.
Which is the most important thing, that, as you said, that, you know, like all these blocks build up to become a special night. And if you take out a block, then the whole thing kind of can shatter. Right? I won't say it always will shatter, but it can somehow take a different route.
Definitely.
So much respect for you, bro.
Thank you so much.
You're the real one, man.
Thank you so much.
Especially on that note.
Yeah.
And I think we can just end it here, bro. It was a perfect ending.